the record thing to pop up. All right.
Yep.
Good morning. Welcome to another Friday morning safety meeting. Today's Pie Day, 3/14 to 25. So if you're near a truck stop with good pies, make sure you stop and get some for everybody, right? This week's code item of the week is strive for restraint, discretion, and integrity. Mr. Dow. I know
This
this is
one's
your
all about,
favorite.
so it is, well, it's all about self-control. And when we exercise this type of self-control, we're going to get more respect from others, and it's going to be making us a lot more effective as a team.
Thank you. Safety news. We have 37 days without a recordable injury, 14 days without a first aid injury, 19 days without a vehicle incident. And we have a safety shout out. This is actually from 2 Fridays ago. Brian Martell was working in the paver shop and noticed a fire in the trash can, and he put it out with a fire extinguisher. So I've been trying to get a hold of him because I have these for him, but I haven't seen him yet. So we'll get him to him at some point. But thank you, Brian, for putting that fire out. I know there was an old mentality back in the day of not putting any fires out, and that would have been a bad one to not put out. So. They were going to talk about the safe cutting of different types of pipe. Obviously, there's going to be types of pipe that aren't on here, but the most common ones that we deal with are. So the basics of it, and this is stuff everybody knows, is always wear appropriate PPE for whatever you're using for a tool and whatever you're using for whatever the material that you're cutting is. Always use the right tool for the job. Sometimes that means going back to the shop to get the right tool for the job. Don't try to do it with the wrong thing. Always be mindful of what could be in the pipe or conduit. So, I know we don't do a ton of solar work anymore, but back then all the wires were live and there was no real way to shut a lot of them off or isolate them. So you cut into pipes and if there was some kind of wire running through it was generally going to be live. So we'll get into that a little bit more down the road, but just be mindful of what we're cutting into. You'll start with copper. Um, when you're cutting copper cutters are preferred. You can also use hand saws, sawzalls, or cut off tools, but they don't cut quite as clean. You want to make sure that you wear gloves and safety glasses when you do this. It's going to create a sharp edge. So cutting danger is the biggest risk that you have here. HDPE, the drillers use it all the time. Hand saws, sawzalls, and chainsaws. And you don't want bar oil in it, you want dish soap, but it may be used to cut the HDPE pipe. If you use a circular saw of any type, they can actually launch off, and there's been a lot of recorded cases of people getting killed by using chop saws and stuff like that on the on HDPE pipes. So you don't want to use any type of circular saw. If you don't have the right tools to cut it, reach out to somebody. But sawzalls work great for smaller stuff and can't even be used for larger stuff. It just takes longer, but you do not want to use any type of circular saw. You want to wear safety glasses, gloves, hearing protection as you're cutting it, and always wear the appropriate face shield and chaps while using a chainsaw. For PVC, there are way too many tools that you can use to cut PVC to mention on here, but what you should be basing your tool off of is the size of the pipe and what could be inside of it. Uh, One of the things that we used to use a lot is string, and we get the braided carpenter string, and we'd wrap it twice around there, and we go back and forth with two sticks until it cut through it. And what was nice about that is that you wouldn't cut into the insulation of whatever was inside. So just be mindful that's always an option that you have out there. You want to wear gloves and safety glasses, and ear protection or face shields may be required for some types of cutting. When you're working with ductile, you can use cut-off saws, specialized saws, sawzalls. Oftentimes you'll have to notch out the pipe, and that's when you have the opportunity to bind up your saw. So just be really mindful of that. Make yourself a nice wide notch, so that way you're not getting yourself into a position where the saw is getting bound. You want to wear gloves, safety glasses, hearing protection, and face shields when cutting this. Come on. And with steel pipe, so casings and stuff like that, you can use sawzalls, grinders, obviously sawzalls for smaller stuff, torches, many other methods that you use for general steel work. You want to wear proper eye protection for the method you're using. So, shade 5 glasses, welding helmets, safety glasses, face shields, etc. You want to wear leather clothing because you're going to have molten steel. And you want to be mindful of the sparks that may cause fires or burns. I'm going to stop presenting.
Any questions from anybody on the safety topic? Can you
Nope,
see my
nothing to add here?
screen? Can
Yep.
you see it, Matt? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we got it. Yep.
Good. Okay. All right. Found out that there was a little bit of mobile foundation maintenance early this morning, but I think it was supposed to be done by 6 in case anyone's having problems with foundation mobile this morning. There are still some residual effects, I think, going on with it. I got an email from foundation. All right, the 2025 kickoff meeting is going to be on March 28th, which is only 2 weeks away. I was just checking out the calendar. It's going to be from noon till 4. Everyone's invited. Everyone in the company is invited. We'll give you a little bit more information next week. This will be similar to other company-wide meetings, and we will put out there that it's a company meeting, and so we will be paid for the meeting. Okay, status changes. So a lot of us move. Well, some of us move. I haven't moved for a while, but if anyone moves and changes their address, the one place to make sure to get it adjusted is up in the main office, and that's what Aaron's bullet point talks about here, is to verify your mailing address, your home address, and all that information. They're going to add this question into some of the interactions that they have with people. So moving forward, it might be that, hey, what is your mailing address still good? And they'll go through it with you. We want to make sure that all those are correct, especially with some of the upcoming things that we have to do regarding the ESOP. That will, if in the case that we have things that need to be mailed out, and also setting up different accounts. Sometimes they have a fail-safe of having our mailing address for sending us notifications on our 401ks and on other things related to the ESOP. So make sure your address is correct. If you get a pay stub, just look at what it says on there, because if it's wrong, that's a good way of letting you know that you need to call up front and get it straightened out. ESOP meetings, we have our next ESOP meeting next Wednesday from 2 to 3. I think we had 8 or 9 in the last one. They're good meetings. They're very informative, and I talked to a couple people this week that had some further questions that were in some of the earlier sections, and if people still have time, come to the next meeting, because we've evolved in our the information that we are presenting as a reaction to all the questions that we get. So those are good meetings. Any comments from anyone that's been to them? Okay. Make sure to get the insurance cards in your vehicles. There's still some up. I think there's still some up front, some in the dispatch, and you can ask the mechanics. But make sure those are in there, because we don't want to get caught without them. Employee Appreciation Day was on March 7th. Just got to switch my camera around here. Hold on. There, that's better. Employee Appreciation Day was March 7th, and Aaron created this nice graphic for everybody. So I think that's pretty cool. So we appreciate everyone for who they are and what they do. Thank you. We have finally, he's arrived. Tyler McNally. We've been anticipating Tyler for several weeks, and he started this week. He's in the heavy equipment and truck shop over in Pat's shop, and he started with us this week. And if you haven't met him yet, and you're in the shop, please introduce yourself and say hello. It would be good if the first interactions that he has with you are ones where you're just saying hi rather than to inform him that you broke something. But either way is good. We've got Parker Leonard, who returned. He's going to be back with the Signal crew. He did start this week as well. So welcome back, Parker. Glad to have you here. And we have an ECI project of the week. Cool little project that the guys did out in the shop. And it will be presented by Mr. Saganowitz.
Yeah, good morning, everybody. We do these every year, and Mr. Dow, of course, had a great idea. Let's spotlight these. That's minimal precast, but the guys do amazing work with these, and it really helps us out throughout the season. So ECI recently formed and poured several concrete traffic signal cabinet foundations in our shop to be used on upcoming projects. We often choose precast these foundations in our shop rather than pour in place. This gives us a lot of early work in the wintertime, when we need to fill up guys to keep them busy. And we do it right in the shop, nice warm place, and provides efficiency on the projects during install. We can set these in place, and instead of waiting for it to cure on the job, it's already ready to go. Foundations were built to specific plans for size and configuration. VTrans has a standard. We used, per the standard, 3,500 PSI Class B concrete. I believe we used number 4 rebar, or number 5 rebar, Mr. Dow.
Mr.
Todd?
Mr. Johnston might have misinformed me, so
Yeah.
it could be number 5. Okay.
I just, for 5 rings in my head, but we'll look at the plan when we get lower. Anchor bolts and conduit openings. The crew installed threaded inserts to be used for lifting the precast foundation slabs and easily setting them into place. We were able to use some of our ECI recycled lumber that is located out back for people to use instead of buying new every time. They were poured inside the concrete bays over there to avoid freezing temperatures and proper cure. Although this was one of our smaller precast projects, these foundations were still built by ECI with quality and pride. I mean, these guys really did an amazing job on them. It seems like an easy detail, but there's chamfering and finishing and all that. So they came out really, really nice. These are, generally speaking, for VTrans. So we do have a VTrans representative here to witness what we're doing because these could be used on multiple projects. This is a picture of the guys setting one. Generally speaking, we run the conduits to the cabinet location, drop the cabinet pad over the conduit group, and with I think it's 12 or 24 inches of stone. It'll show on the detail on the bottom, and compacted stone, and we just set it right in place. They work great. These guys really have it down to a science. Yeah, it does show number 5 rebar on here.
Yep.
Yeah, Todd. And it shows subbase of crushed gravel. Looks like 12 inches minimum. So the guys will dig it out, put in some 12-inch gravel. It just gives it a nice, solid ground for it to sit on and get good drainage. This is supplied through VTrans, so we build it to their standard. You will see in these pictures 3 pads that look a little different, and I'll explain when we get down to that area.
What's this fancy thing?
It's actually really fancy. I like these. Tanner likes them. The group likes them. Basically, after we pour the concrete and get it to a certain, and I'm sorry, I don't know all the technical terms when it comes to concrete. Get it to a certain thing. They drop these in there with like these little caps, and then once it hardens, they take the cap out, and we have these nice threaded hooks that will screw in there and easily lift up the pads safely where we don't break them, get them down there to transport, and then set them in place. We've been using these for quite a few years now, and everybody seems pleased with how they work and the ease of, you know, getting them into place, moving them around. They're heavy little pads.
So you just drop that little lifting eye assembly,
Yep.
thread it right in. That's cool.
Yep. Yeah, this you know, this is a lifting eye assembly. We actually have like the loops.
Yep.
There's all different types of lifting capabilities, but this is a good example of
Yep.
exactly how it would work.
The system.
Yeah,
Cool.
the system. Here I am with Nate and Johnny, and who's that? Somebody came in. I think that's Todd. And we're just going over the plans, making sure the anchor bolts, and we agreed on everything. So they came out perfect. A lot of planning, but once it gets executed, it went really well. So this is a good picture because it shows the two oddball. You can see the two pads closer to you looking at it. They're double-sided, and on Champlain Parkway, the cabinets open from both sides. So generally speaking, per code, we'd have to ask Steve Kreis. I believe he said it, that you need a pad on each side of the door to work. You know, you're not in the water while you're working on electrical. So we devised these, and they look great. You can see the chamfering and the detail. Yep. The foam blocks. I think Stevie had that idea 3-4 years ago to use up some of those foam pieces. So those will actually be knocked out, and that's where the conduit comes up.
That's cool.
Yep, all the rebars. Yep. All the rebars American made. The bolts are, you know, per VTrans standard. And like I said, we have a VTrans representative there just to witness the pours because it's on multiple jobs. This is looking down at a standard pad. And
so those are just one-sided pads.
Yep, and this is a very standard. This is what we do 90% of the 99 really percent of the time. And you can see the recycled lumber there. The guys did a really good job keeping the budget down on these.
You guys even test for air?
Yes. You know, we got the concrete from SD Ireland. They sent a representative down to test the air. Katie Kreis was also there to witness the test, to make sure everything went good. The air passed, and we continued to pour. Here's Marty checking his watch to properly document the pour, making sure we're right on it, and everybody has the right documentation. You know, he's a stickler when it comes to this stuff. Very serious, on his game. He doesn't mess around. And then here he is again. I think he was yelling at me to get out of the way. I'm not sure. I believe that is Bob Savage helping Marty with the pour. Here's Marty vibrating the concrete and making sure things are going good, keeping the guys in line. And then as we make our way through the concrete shop, we just work our way down and just complete all the pads, and they finish them. And then at a certain time, they'll drop in those hooks and brush finish, and you know they're done. Here's Marty in charge again, talking to the SD Ireland guy. And then so I you know, we did the pour, and I said, well, I'm going to go in and take some pictures of them and, you know, see how it's looking in there, make sure the heat's on and stuff. And, you know, it was later in the afternoon, and I opened the door, and this guy's in here, I think, writing his name on the pads, Mr. Dow. I don't know. He said he was trying to fix them, you know, keep them clean and just trying to finish them, make them look neat. But I was like, Ronnie, you can't just write your name on these. Yeah. You know,
those are good looking pads.
Good looking and you can see the drop-ins. If you look really close, you can see the drop-ins, and they try to put them in a spot where they lift, you know, together, and it's not flip-floppy. The guys, I mean, really, I can't say it enough, do a great job with these. I know they're simple, but it really helps us in the summertime get our job done efficiently. And it's good fill-in work for the
Yep.
guys in the winter. We do
Cool.
this every year. Um,
Thanks, Matt.
for sure. I also just really wanted to give a quick shout out. Kevin Stedman, John Sterling, these guys built the pads, the rebar, everything. Attention to detail was amazing. Nate Bellevue, Bob Savage did the finishing. Of course, Marty. Todd had a lot to do with it, get it all organized. And then, of course, the man himself, Ron Johnston. But I'd like to really thank them all. They did a great job and very great to work with.
And here is
Yep.
an example of one of our foundations with the cabinet on top, right?
Yep. And you can see how it needs to be. You've got to be on a pad step when you're working on electronics, and this achieves that.
Cool. Thanks, Matt.
No problem. I'm glad that you
I-
decided to spotlight it. It's a cool little piece of the puzzle that needs to get done, and I love how we
Yep.
do it ourselves.
Thanks. I did find a photo from the
Oh,
archives.
did you find it?
Well, I didn't find the one we were looking for, but
Oh, close enough.
this one was pretty cool. Because Alan always had white walls on his Broncos.
And a
I don't know
button-up
if people
shirt.
even know what white wall tires are, but
I think that's
Um,
Dave Guerin with the city.
yeah, Dave Guerin on the right. This is not a cabinet, but it's a control. The controls at Medical Center Hospital of Vermont, MCHV. You guys remember what that's now? It's called what do you call it? UVM Medical
UVM.
Center.
Yep.
I think is that the East Ave entrance there? Probably looks like it. That probably Colby eating a sandwich next to Alan. But that had to be the early 90s with that. That was the Bronco that Alan got. That was his 88 that he got the year I came to work here. The one before that was blue. Those are pretty nice rigs.
Yeah.
And I think does Dave Guerin still work for the city?
No, he
Some
got
old-
done a few years back, I think.
Yep. And we all had plows on our
Hey, Mr.
vehicles
Dow,
back then. Go ahead.
I got something real quick.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. Hey, just keep in mind, everybody, if we can make time, we need to make time to rinse the salt off our stuff. It's going to be
Yeah.
a beautiful day. We've got more good weather coming up. So before things get really busy, and it already feels like they're getting busy, let's get our equipment, our trucks, our trailers underneath, under the floor mats, and say like a bucket loader. Let's get all that stuff washed down. Keep that equipment looking nice and lasting a long time so we don't have to go buy new stuff.
Yeah, that's really important, Ben. And as the temperature warms, the salt the way the salt creates oxidization and corrosion hugely increases with temperature. So you can be 15 degrees and salt doesn't do much, but boy, when it gets to be 70 degrees, that it will just eat these frames. And Chico will attest to that.
It's really cool that we work for a company that is happy to pay us overtime to wash our stuff and keep it nice.
Yeah.
And this equipment belongs to all of us. We all own a little piece of all this iron, so it's worth it.
We do have the wash station behind Chico's shop, and we also have that portable unit. I believe it's still running, Ben, around here. I don't know who's using it. And maybe we could put a hose, just a regular hose, out where the water station is out beyond the gate, because it's just nice to have a few workstations going for everybody. So ask if you need if you need a different option on washing things, I guess. There is a
Yeah,
hose
the
by
pressure
at
washer
the driller
trailer.
shop. Yep.
The pressure washer trailer's been in use. We've had a guy or two doing a good job getting some stuff washed off, and then we've got the fire hose too. I'm not sure what it has for a nozzle, but we can get one of the regular fire hose nozzles that can be used out
And-
by
and
the where the old salt shed was.
Yep. I also think there's still a hose bib out by the driller's shop on the pad, out behind Matt Seguinwich's area.
Yeah, right over there.
So if we need to, we can get that one going. Thanks, Ben. Anybody else have anything? I'll turn it back over to Tom Pigeon.
All right. Have a great day. Have a safe day. If you watch in a group setting, please send over your attendance and enjoy your weekend of long afternoons and evenings.
Yeah, great. Thanks, Tom. Thanks, everybody.
Bye, everybody.